The universe opens in silence, not an empty silence, but one alive with invisible motion. Between the shimmering arms of the Milky Way, rivers of light flow through darkness so ancient that it seems beyond time. Each star, a burning whisper, tells a story of birth and death, of creation and collapse. Yet beyond their glittering brilliance lies a secret that science has yet to touch, a secret that suggests we may not be the first to gaze into this galactic ocean. The opening sequence drifts through clouds of gas and cosmic dust, moving past supernova remnants and the cold skeletons of dead suns. The camera glides closer through a golden haze of starlight, revealing that beneath this beauty may dwell something far older, far more complex, and far more hidden than we have ever imagined. Humanity once believed that the sky was a map of gods and fates. Ancient civilizations carved constellations into stone, seeing in them reflections of their own stories. Today we look at the same stars through telescopes instead of myths, but the question remains unchanged: are we truly alone? As the galaxies spin above us, we begin to wonder if this silence is the result of distance, or design. Somewhere within this grand machinery of light, could there exist civilizations that chose to remain unseen, living in the folds of the Milky Way like shadows moving beneath the waves of a cosmic sea? The Milky Way itself is a paradox of revelation and concealment. It offers the illusion of visibility, of knowing, while hiding within its billions of suns the possibility of unseen empires. The spiral arms are veils of time, each glowing region a history in motion. To the human eye, it appears tranquil, but beneath that serenity lies chaos and birth, collisions of matter, gravity sculpting the architecture of existence. In that chaos there may be patterns, technological, intelligent, deliberate, so advanced they no longer resemble life as we define it. Perhaps they are not forms at all, but harmonies of energy, civilizations that communicate not through words or radio but through the very structure of space and time. Every photon that reaches Earth carries with it a fragment of this mystery. Light travels for tens of thousands of years before it touches us, so what we see is a memory, not a moment. The galaxy we observe tonight may already be gone, transformed, evolved, or emptied. This thought carries a quiet melancholy. Our understanding of the universe is always behind, always chasing ghosts of what once was. The Milky Way becomes a mirror reflecting not only the stars but our own longing to belong in something greater. The silence is not absence. It is a question, suspended in eternity, waiting for someone to listen deeply enough to hear its answer. The camera tilts slowly across a field of stars, zooming toward the galactic core, a dense, luminous heart that pulses like a living organism. The narrator's voice softens, asking what intelligence might emerge near such a violent beauty. Could ancient species have evolved there, learning to harness gravity, bending light itself to hide from the eyes of younger beings like us? Or could they have fled the radiation storms and black holes, drifting outward to the quieter spiral arms, building sanctuaries within the dust clouds where even telescopes cannot see? Our instruments, no matter how advanced, are still blind to much of the galaxy. Dark matter outweighs visible matter by far, and yet we know almost nothing of its composition. If civilizations existed within or upon that invisible framework, we would never detect them, not because they are absent but because our senses are too primitive to recognize their form. Imagine a fish trying to comprehend the air above the water. It exists, it affects the world but remains unreachable. Humanity, in its cosmic infancy, may be that fish, staring at the shimmering surface of reality, unaware of the civilizations that glide above. As the narration deepens, the tone shifts from curiosity to reverence. The stars no longer feel like distant lights but like eyes watching from across eternity. The silence between them begins to hum with possibility. We realize that the question of hidden civilizations is not only scientific but deeply emotional. It reflects our need for connection, our fear of insignificance, and our hope that consciousness somewhere out there has transcended the fragility of life and the violence of time. Then comes a subtle transition, an echo almost imperceptible reverberating through the cosmic dark. A reminder that the story we're entering isn't about finding aliens, but about understanding why the universe feels designed to conceal its greatest wonders. The camera fades to black, leaving the viewer suspended in uncertainty. A single line lingers in the air like a whisper carried by starlight. In the heart of the Milky Way, where light and shadow dance for eternity, perhaps the oldest civilizations never vanished. They simply learned to hide. For as long as humans have looked to the night sky, we have believed ourselves to be alone. The darkness between the stars once seemed infinite, a void so vast that it swallowed every dream of companionship. Ancient poets wrote of isolation beneath the heavens, of gods who abandoned mankind to wander under cold celestial fire. Yet beneath this loneliness, there has always been a flicker of doubt, a whisper that perhaps solitude is only an illusion, a misunderstanding born from the limits of perception. The stars have always stared back, and maybe, just maybe, something behind them has been watching all along. In the modern age, science replaced myth, but the ache remained. Astronomers mapped galaxies, measured cosmic radiation, and sent messages into the void. Still, the response was silence. Decades passed, and each unanswered signal seemed to confirm our aloneness. Yet even as the radio waves vanished into endless space, a question persisted. What if the silence isn't proof of emptiness but of something else? Something intelligent, deliberate, and ancient? The myth of solitude, perhaps, is not a reflection of the universe, but of our own fear that we might not matter within it. To grasp the immensity of that fear, one must stand beneath a truly dark sky, far from the glow of cities, far from noise and memory. In that infinite canopy of glittering points, the human mind begins to tremble. Each star becomes a potential home, each flicker a possible eye. The Milky Way arcs like a frozen river above, a trail of billions of suns. The mind struggles to comprehend it. We are a species of storytellers trapped within a single planet, yet surrounded by a stage so immense it defies imagination. Could it be that other civilizations once stood beneath their own skies, asking the same question, feeling the same ache of isolation that now defines us? History shows that loneliness has shaped not only our myths but our technology. From the first cave paintings of constellations to the Voyager probe carrying a golden record into the unknown, every step has been driven by the desire to be heard, to be acknowledged. But what if the message was never meant to be answered? What if the universe is not empty, but simply uninterested in conversation? The silence then becomes not an absence, but a kind of cosmic boundary, a reminder that communication requires not only technology, but alignment of mind, intent, and perhaps something more profound, empathy across dimensions. Our ancestors feared the night because it represented the unknown. Yet the unknown also inspired them. Philosophers like Democritus and Epicurus once suggested that infinite worlds must exist, each harboring life in forms unimaginable. Later, as telescopes expanded our vision, scientists like Giordano Bruno paid with their lives for daring to imagine a populated cosmos. Today, that same idea lives on in the search for exoplanets, thousands discovered, many within habitable zones. Each one is a candidate for life, each one a possible mirror to our own world. Still, despite the overwhelming probability, we find no one. The math suggests abundance, the evidence whispers emptiness. It's a contradiction that haunts the human heart. Perhaps solitude is not the truth but a phase, a temporary blindness of a young species that has not yet learned how to listen properly. What if advanced civilizations communicate in ways we cannot yet comprehend? Not through radio or light, but through gravity, dark energy, or the very structure of spacetime itself? What if their silence is not indifference but mercy, a decision to observe without interference, to let us grow unshaped by cosmic influence? In that light, the myth of solitude becomes a test, a way for evolution to refine consciousness before it joins a greater network of existence. The camera glides through nebulae, where new stars ignite within clouds of dust. The voice of the narrator carries both awe and melancholy, describing how every star is a possibility, every world a dream we've yet to meet. For every civilization that could exist, there are billions of ways it could end, by self-destruction, by natural disaster, or by quiet transcendence into forms we can no longer recognize. Humanity stands at the threshold, a flickering intelligence surrounded by silence that may not be silence at all. In this stillness, a paradox forms. The more we search, the more alone we feel. The deeper we look, the further the answers retreat. And yet, there is something profoundly beautiful in this pursuit. It unites us, not in knowledge but in wonder. The myth of solitude becomes the heartbeat of curiosity itself, pushing us to explore, to imagine, to reach for what might exist just beyond our understanding. As the scene fades, the Milky Way stretches like a luminous scar across the void. The narrator's tone softens to a whisper as if addressing the universe directly. If we are alone, then we are the beginning. If we are not, then we are the echo of something greater. The silence that follows feels alive, as if the stars themselves are holding their breath, waiting for the right moment to answer. Imagine looking down upon the Milky Way from above, a colossal spiral of light, stretching over 100,000 light-years wide, its arms curling gracefully through the darkness like a vast celestial whirlpool. It looks peaceful from a distance, but inside, it is anything but calm. It is a place of constant motion, of stars colliding, gas clouds birthing suns, and invisible forces sculpting the destiny of worlds. This is not just a galaxy, it is a living map, a structure of unimaginable complexity and beauty. The galactic map is more than a chart of stars, it is a record of everything that has ever existed here, and perhaps everything that will. As our instruments have evolved, humanity has begun to trace this map, line by line, light by light. What once appeared as a blur of brightness to ancient astronomers is now revealed to be a city of billions of stars, organized by gravity's invisible hand. Within this grand architecture are neighborhoods, clusters, regions, and spiral arms, each with its own conditions, its own potential for life. The Orion Arm, our small corner of this cosmic metropolis, feels suddenly fragile and local, just one district in an endless expanse of possibility. And as scientists plot the locations of exoplanets, pulsars, and star nurseries, patterns begin to emerge, patterns that hint at something more than coincidence. Could the Milky Way itself be shaped, at least in part, by intention? This is the question that stirs quietly among astronomers and philosophers alike. When you look closely enough, you start to see geometry in chaos, arrangements that defy pure randomness. There are regions where stars seem to align too perfectly, where energy distribution follows harmonics reminiscent of design. It might be natural, or it might be something else, an echo of intelligence embedded in the galactic framework. The idea is audacious, but history has shown that nature and intelligence often blur at their boundaries. Life, after all, is nature aware of itself. Across the galaxy, humanity has discovered not just stars but signposts, anomalies that don't quite fit. Vast radio structures, cold spots, and voids that seem deliberately organized. Astronomers find themselves torn between skepticism and wonder, balancing the need for scientific caution with the undeniable sense that something is orchestrated beyond our current comprehension. The galactic map begins to resemble a message written across scales too vast for human lifetimes to decode. The question shifts. What if the Milky Way itself is the artifact, the signature of a civilization whose tools are gravity, light, and time? As the narration deepens, the visual transitions from telescopic imagery to artistic renderings of the galaxy as a living system. Each spiral arm pulses like a nerve, each cluster glows like a heartbeat. It is not a still image, it is a breathing organism, an ecosystem where stars are born, live, and die in cycles that mirror the rise and fall of civilizations. Perhaps these processes are not separate. Perhaps intelligence itself is part of the galaxy's evolution, a natural phenomenon that arises wherever complexity reaches its tipping point. And perhaps, scattered among the stars, countless minds have already played their parts, their legacies hidden within the data streams we have yet to understand. To grasp the enormity of this map, imagine traveling from one end of the galaxy to the other. Even at the speed of light, it would take over 100,000 years to cross. During that time, empires could rise and vanish, species could evolve, and entire star systems could collapse into black holes. In this context, time becomes geography. History and location blend into one continuum. The galactic map is not static. It shifts and reshapes itself with every passing millennium. And within that fluidity, the footprints of ancient intelligence could dissolve into cosmic background noise, leaving only subtle fingerprints, gravity anomalies, unexplainable radiation patterns, or structures hidden within the fabric of dark matter itself. The voice of the narrator lowers, contemplative, describing how even our most advanced telescopes, like the James Webb Space Telescope, barely scratch the surface of what's truly there. The Milky Way contains not only visible stars but countless unseen systems, dwarfs, and rogue planets drifting in the dark. These unlit regions could host life forms that thrive without sunlight, civilizations that draw power from magnetic fields or the energy of cosmic rays. If they exist, they would be invisible to our eyes, hidden in the margins of the galactic map like annotations written in ink that only another intelligence can read. The camera now glides past a massive nebula, its colors swirling like liquid fire. The narrator speaks of perspective, how the map depends on where you stand. To us, the galaxy seems vast and impersonal, but to a civilization 10 million years older, it might be home, mapped and navigated with precision, each corridor of space catalogued like cities and roads. For such beings, the Milky Way might not be a mystery, it might be infrastructure. Travel routes between stars, energy harvesting networks, perhaps even communication lattices spread across light years. Humanity, in contrast, has only just begun to draw the borders of its own district. And yet, there is beauty in that ignorance. The galactic map is both an invitation and a warning. It invites us to explore but reminds us of our scale. It seduces us with possibility, yet humbles us with time. Every dot of light we see is both a destination and a question mark. Somewhere within that vastness, hidden beyond our ability to detect, could exist civilizations that have already transcended matter, using the galaxy's structure itself as their consciousness. They would not need ships or signals. Their minds could be the geometry of the Milky Way itself. Every star a neuron, every black hole a memory. As the section closes, the narrator's tone becomes poetic, a soft whisper echoing through the vast galactic expanse. The Milky Way is not just a map of where we are, it is a map of what we could become. Every beam of light is a path waiting to be followed, every shadow a story not yet told. The camera pulls back slowly, until the galaxy becomes a single spiral of light hanging in infinite blackness, a symbol of both our smallness and our potential. The screen fades to silence, leaving only one thought lingering: the map is not complete, because we are still drawing it. The cosmos is never truly silent. Beneath the serene shimmer of the Milky Way, hidden among billions of stars, there exists a subtle hum, a collection of signals, pulses, and anomalies that defy easy explanation. Radio bursts erupt sporadically from distant galaxies, neutrinos traverse the void at near-light speed, and cosmic rays strike Earth with a rhythm that hints at a hidden order. Scientists have cataloged these phenomena for decades, but each discovery leads to more questions than answers. Are these the random chaos of a universe governed by chance, or are they the faint signatures of intelligence we have yet to comprehend? The opening sequence of this section glides through star fields and deep space imagery, a cinematic dance of light and shadow, emphasizing that what appears empty is never truly empty. From the moment the first pulsars were detected, astronomers were both excited and unnerved. These rhythmic beacons were initially thought to be artificial signals, messages from distant civilizations, until nature revealed their origins. Yet even after this disappointment, the universe continued to whisper. Fast radio bursts, mysterious repeating signals, and anomalous gamma-ray flashes populate the sky like punctuation marks in a story written across billions of light-years. Each event is fleeting, unpredictable, and seemingly deliberate, a cosmic Morse code that teases humanity's understanding. The tension is palpable. Are we witnessing the fingerprints of life elsewhere, or merely the random murmurings of physics itself? Consider the phenomenon of fast radio bursts, brief flashes of energy lasting mere milliseconds, yet releasing more energy than our sun emits in a day. They appear without warning and often vanish before they can be fully studied. Scientists scramble to trace their origins, mapping the bursts to galaxies millions or even billions of light-years away. Some repeat, some do not. Some exhibit patterns that hint at intelligent modulation, while others are chaotic, indecipherable. For a fleeting moment, the mind begins to imagine a civilization far older than our own, attempting to communicate across the abyss of space with a language we are just beginning to recognize. Cosmic anomalies extend beyond bursts of energy. Deep space surveys reveal structures that defy expectation, stars that move in ways that contradict gravitational models, unexplained dips in starlight suggesting massive objects of unknown origin, and regions of darkness where light should exist. Each anomaly challenges humanity's assumptions about the Milky Way, forcing us to confront the possibility that intelligence may manifest in forms we cannot yet perceive. The narrative here builds suspense, moving between scientific observation and the emotional response it evokes: wonder, fear, and an almost imperceptible sense of being watched. Even the technology we rely upon to observe the universe is imperfect, adding layers to the mystery. Radio telescopes pick up thousands of signals each day, most of them interference or natural phenomena. Filtering through the noise is like listening for a single heartbeat in a storm. Yet, occasionally, a signal slips through, something that does not conform to known physics, something that hints at deliberate complexity. These moments are brief and fragile, easily dismissed, yet they ignite imagination and speculation. Could we be on the brink of recognition, standing at the threshold of a discovery that redefines our understanding of life itself? The narrative transitions to the philosophical implications. If these signals are intentional, they suggest civilizations that have mastered communication on scales far beyond our own. They may not require physical contact, spacecraft, or even visible technology. Instead, they may encode their presence into the very structure of the galaxy, manipulating electromagnetic fields or gravitational waves to leave a subtle, nearly imperceptible mark. This raises profound questions. If we detect such intelligence, what does it mean for humanity? Are we alone observers, or participants in a conversation that has been ongoing for eons? A visual sequence takes the audience through a montage of telescopes scanning the heavens, data streams flowing across screens, and cosmic anomalies visualized as shifting patterns of light. The imagery conveys both scale and intimacy, showing that these whispers in the dark are as much a part of the universe's personality as stars and planets. The tone is suspenseful yet awe-inspiring, emphasizing that the search is as important as the discovery. Each anomaly, each unexplained signal, is an invitation to look deeper, to imagine the unimaginable. By the end of the section, the narrative hovers on the boundary between science and speculation. The viewer is left with a mixture of wonder and unease. The universe is speaking in ways we are only beginning to perceive, and perhaps it has always been attempting to communicate with anyone capable of listening. The final scene lingers on a dark expanse dotted with faint, flickering points of light, as the narrator whispers, "Somewhere beyond the reach of our eyes, the cosmos murmurs in a language older than time." Are we ready to understand or merely to hear? In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, there may exist civilizations so advanced that they are invisible, not because they have vanished but because they have chosen silence. Unlike humanity broadcasting signals into space with desperate hope, these entities may have learned the art of discretion, understanding that exposure is not always advantageous. The camera drifts through cosmic dust clouds, weaving between glittering stars, as the narrator sets a tone of quiet reverence, hinting that intelligence need not announce itself to exist. These silent architects of the galaxy might communicate through means entirely alien to us, harnessing energy, gravity, or dimensions beyond perception, leaving no trace detectable by our primitive instruments. The idea of deliberate invisibility challenges every assumption humanity has held about contact and discovery. For centuries we equated progress with visibility, shining our technology, our broadcasts, our presence outward into the void. Yet, a civilization capable of transcending its material needs might regard such exposure as naive or even dangerous. Their choice to remain hidden could be a strategy for survival, a recognition of the fragility of life in a universe governed by forces indifferent to existence. Every quiet region of space becomes not a void but a sanctuary, a hidden corridor where civilizations evolve without interference, weaving their stories into the unseen fabric of the galaxy. The narrative explores contrasts between humanity's noisy adolescence and the serene mastery of these silent beings. Where we send probes and signals, they may orchestrate gravitational currents or manipulate dark energy to communicate over unimaginable distances. Where we seek to be heard, they may prefer observation, learning from the evolution of younger species without altering the natural course of events. Their presence would not be marked by monuments or radio waves but by subtle patterns and anomalies in the cosmos that we might interpret only centuries later. It is a humbling thought. Intelligence does not require recognition and civilization does not need an audience. Philosophically, the concept of silence reframes the search for life. The absence of signals may not be failure, but a reflection of the universe's complexity and the diversity of intelligent behavior. Perhaps civilizations that survive the long eons learn that patience and discretion outweigh exhibition. In these hidden corners, species might achieve feats of engineering, consciousness, and harmony that our imagination cannot yet grasp. They might build structures that manipulate the flow of light and time, create networks of energy that transcend matter, or even exist as patterns of thought within the magnetic and gravitational fields of entire star systems. Humanity, in contrast, is still learning the meaning of existence beyond our immediate survival. The camera sweeps past pulsars, black holes, and dense star clusters, illustrating both danger and opportunity. In regions hostile to life as we know it, other forms of intelligence could flourish, adapted to extremes of radiation, gravity, or vacuum. The silent architects may thrive in what we perceive as emptiness, moving through spaces that seem inhospitable, leaving no trace save for the faintest distortions in starlight or gravitational waves. These hidden civilizations, if they exist, challenge the very definition of life and intelligence, forcing us to expand our imagination beyond carbon, water, and electricity. A sense of tension and awe builds as the section explores the implications of encountering such entities. If they observe humanity, they may do so with complete detachment, evaluating our growth and decisions without interference. The contrast is stark. While we yearn for recognition, they embody a cosmic patience that we cannot yet comprehend. Their existence raises questions about ethics, survival, and the nature of intelligence itself. Perhaps the silence is not fear, but wisdom, the understanding that the galaxy is a dangerous, unpredictable place, and only those who master discretion can endure its eons. Visually, the sequence emphasizes subtlety and beauty. Shadows of interstellar clouds shift against glowing star fields, suggesting movement and life where none is apparent. Nebulae pulse with color as if breathing, and distant galaxies spin in silent choreography. The narrative draws attention to the interplay of light and dark, seen and unseen, emphasizing that what is hidden may be more fascinating than what is visible. Humanity's instruments capture only fragments, yet the imagination fills the spaces between, hinting at civilizations that inhabit the edges of perception. By the conclusion of the section, the viewer is left with a profound sense of humility and possibility. The universe, once thought empty and indifferent, now feels layered and intentional. The silent architects of the Milky Way, whether real or speculative, embody a principle of cosmic discretion that challenges our assumptions about existence, communication, and intelligence. The narrator's voice softens, leaving the audience with a lingering question that merges wonder with existential reflection. Perhaps those who dwell in the galaxy's shadows do not seek to be found. They have already mastered what we are only beginning to understand: the power of presence without exposure and of life without spectacle. Long before humanity ever lifted its gaze toward the stars, the Milky Way had already witnessed epochs of life rising and falling, civilizations blooming and fading in silence. These are the lost epochs, eras so ancient that even the oldest human records cannot touch them. Through cinematic visualization, the camera glides past clouds of stellar nurseries, ancient star clusters, and the cold, black skeletons of stars long extinguished, emphasizing the vast temporal tapestry in which life might have flickered. Each star holds a story, and some may have hosted intelligent beings whose existence we will never fully grasp, whose footprints in the galaxy were erased by the inexorable flow of time. The narrative begins with the imagination stretching across billions of years. Perhaps, in a spiral arm far older than ours, a species evolved intelligence while our planet was still a molten sphere. Their civilizations could have constructed architectures on scales unimaginable to us, harnessing energy from multiple stars, or bending gravity to their will. They may have transcended biological forms, becoming entities of pure energy or consciousness, leaving behind only subtle distortions in the surrounding cosmos as their traces. And yet, despite their advancement, even the mightiest civilizations could not escape the natural forces that govern the galaxy. Supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, and black holes have the power to obliterate entire systems, erasing entire cultures from history in moments of cosmic fury. The section transitions to a more contemplative tone, pondering the fragile balance between life and extinction. Civilization after civilization may have flourished, reaching technological and philosophical heights, only to vanish without a trace. Their knowledge, their achievements, and their aspirations may linger only in faint imprints in starlight or irregularities in planetary formation. Each lost epoch emphasizes the impermanence not only of matter but of memory, drawing a haunting parallel to humanity's own fleeting existence. Time itself is the ultimate filter, indifferent and relentless, a silent judge of survival. Yet the lost epochs are not solely tales of demise. They are also stories of extraordinary resilience and creativity. Life, once sparked, has a tenacity that bends around catastrophe. Planets that survived supernova shockwaves, star systems that endured gravitational chaos, and species that adapted to extremes may have left behind legacies hidden in ways we cannot yet detect. Perhaps entire civilizations exist today, evolved in forms that have rendered them invisible to our current scientific instruments, but whose origins trace back to these forgotten ages. In this way, the past is not dead, it resonates within the galaxy, awaiting recognition by minds capable of perceiving it. Through sweeping cinematic imagery, the narration illustrates the grandeur and tragedy of these epochs. Massive nebulae glow like ethereal cathedrals, while cold, empty voids mark the remains of star systems long extinct. The camera moves as if wandering through a museum of cosmic history, pausing on planetary remnants, asteroid belts, and faint gravitational ripples that might hint at structures once alive with purpose. It is a meditation on scale, billions of years, billions of stars, and yet perhaps a single civilization's faint touch remains detectable only through patient observation and imagination. The section also explores the philosophical implications of lost epochs. If civilizations have arisen and vanished before humanity's emergence, what does this suggest about our own future? Are we the latest in a chain of intelligent life destined to face inevitable extinction, or could we break the pattern and endure? This contrast between hope and forewarning creates emotional tension, evoking both awe at the potential grandeur of past civilizations and a sobering humility regarding our own place in the galactic timeline. The viewer is encouraged to contemplate not only the possibility of ancient intelligence but also the responsibilities of being aware of the universe's fleeting nature. Finally, the narration bridges the lost epochs to the present, emphasizing continuity amid apparent absence. Every star we observe tonight may carry within it the remnants of civilizations that once thrived, their echoes lingering in the dynamics of star clusters, planetary compositions, and cosmic radiation. The past is not fully erased. It has shaped the environment we inhabit, and perhaps, in some subtle way, it has shaped us as well. The Milky Way is a living chronicle, and humanity stands at the edge of understanding, peering into a history so vast that it humbles the mind while igniting the imagination. As the section concludes, the camera lingers on a distant supernova remnant, a glowing testament to both creation and destruction. The narrator's voice softens into reflection. Before we took our first breath, the galaxy had already been witness to empires of thought, civilizations of light, and minds that reached beyond matter itself. Their time has passed, but their echoes may still whisper, waiting for those who are willing to listen. The light that reaches us from distant stars is not a message from the present, but a memory from the past. Each photon that travels across the void carries within it the story of a moment long gone, a narrative frozen in time, bridging the unimaginable distances of the Milky Way. As our telescopes gather this ancient illumination, we peer not into the now, but into histories that unfolded millions, even billions of years ago. This realization transforms our perception of the galaxy. What we observe may already be extinct, gone before we even knew it existed, leaving only the faintest trace of its existence for us to interpret. The section begins by immersing the viewer in the poetic melancholy of cosmic time. Imagine watching a star explode, witnessing the brilliance of its death only centuries later, light finally arriving at our instruments. The visual is cinematic, a vivid explosion of color and energy suspended against the darkness of space. But behind this beauty lies a haunting truth. Civilizations that once thrived around such stars may have vanished, their worlds obliterated, their histories lost. The light deceives us with its radiance, offering beauty while concealing absence. Each star is simultaneously a beacon and a tomb, a reminder that time flows differently on galactic scales, where the present is always out of reach. Astronomers often speak of look-back time, the concept that observing distant objects is akin to stepping into a temporal mirror. When we observe a galaxy a billion light-years away, we are seeing it as it was a billion years ago. Its current state is unknown. It may have collapsed, merged, or evolved into something unrecognizable. The narrative emphasizes the emotional weight of this knowledge. Every discovery carries a duality, awe at the scale of creation and sorrow at the inevitability of impermanence. Even our most celebrated findings, the formation of planets, the ignition of stars, the dance of binary systems, are ghostly reflections, remnants of events that shaped the cosmos long before humanity existed. The concept of ancient light naturally extends to the question of civilizations. If intelligent life emerged around distant stars millions of years ago, what has become of it? Are we witnessing the glow of worlds already extinct, or the faint signals of minds that have evolved beyond comprehension? This duality introduces a chilling tension. The universe may be teeming with life, yet we may only encounter its echoes. The light we see may be the last witness to empires that rose, flourished, and fell in the galactic past, their presence encoded in photons that now arrive at our instruments. Humanity's gaze, for all its curiosity, is always one step behind reality. The narrative transitions to the poetic consequences of this temporal displacement. To gaze into space is to read a history book written in light. Supernova remnants, ancient nebulae, and the slow rotation of galaxies all tell stories that are billions of years old. Planets detected in distant systems are photographs of a past era, their current conditions unknown. A planet bathed in sunlight as we observe it today may already be inhospitable, its surface scorched or swallowed by a dying star. This perspective instills both humility and urgency. It reminds us that the universe is not static. It is a dynamic, ever-changing canvas, where life and death play out on scales beyond human comprehension. Through cinematic visualization, the section juxtaposes dazzling imagery with philosophical reflection. Streams of light curve along galactic arms, pulsars pulse rhythmically, and black holes distort the space around them, creating visual poetry that evokes both wonder and melancholy. The narration highlights the contrast between the permanence of the cosmos and the transience of civilizations. Where stars burn for millions or billions of years, intelligent life is fleeting, its existence often measured in centuries or millennia. The Milky Way therefore becomes a library of lost potential, each photon a page carrying stories that may never be fully read. The section also touches on the emotional resonance of observing ancient light. There is a profound sense of loneliness in realizing that what we see may be gone. The realization evokes awe at the vastness of time and space, but also fear that humanity's own story may be just another brief flicker, destined to be recorded in light that will only reach distant observers long after we have ceased to exist. Yet, within this tension lies hope. The light may also carry evidence of survival, of knowledge preserved across eons, hinting at civilizations that have learned to endure in ways we have yet to understand. As the section closes, the camera drifts past galaxies receding into the distance, their light stretching and warping as it travels across cosmic expanses. The narration ties together science and emotion. Every star we see is a messenger from a time we cannot touch, a relic of a past that shaped the present. Perhaps among these ancient lights lie the remnants of civilizations, waiting silently for someone to notice that the universe is not only old, but alive with memory. The screen fades slowly to black, leaving the audience suspended between wonder, melancholy, and the infinite possibilities hidden in the light of the Milky Way. Across the vast stretches of the Milky Way, there may exist civilizations so advanced that they leave no trace detectable by the instruments of a fledgling species like humanity. They are the builders of nothing, entities that have transcended matter, abandoning conventional forms and technologies to exist in states that defy comprehension. Unlike civilizations that leave monuments, signals, or planetary modifications, these beings may manipulate energy, information, and dimensions beyond the reach of our perception. The camera moves through nebulas and stellar remnants, highlighting regions of apparent emptiness, while the narrator explains that invisibility is not absence. It is evolution taken to its extreme. In a galaxy filled with light, the most profound civilizations may dwell in shadow. The concept challenges everything humanity assumes about existence. We measure progress by material accumulation, by detectable footprints and audacious signals. We imagine alien civilizations building megastructures or sending radio waves across the void. But a civilization that has transcended matter has no need for such displays. They might communicate through gravitational harmonics, encode consciousness into patterns of dark energy, or inhabit the very fabric of space-time itself. To us, it would seem as if nothing exists. But in reality, intelligence might permeate the galaxy in ways that are simultaneously ubiquitous and invisible. The narrative emphasizes this paradox, contrasting human visibility with cosmic discretion, highlighting how primitive our understanding remains. The camera sweeps past black holes and pulsars, the remnants of violent cosmic events, while the narration contemplates the fragility of material existence. Civilizations tied to matter are constrained by entropy, by the decay of stars and planets. Those that move beyond physical forms may be impervious to time in ways we cannot imagine. They may harness energy from multiple stars, converting it into thought or consciousness, existing as dynamic patterns in electromagnetic or gravitational fields. What appears to observers as void or empty space could, in fact, be teeming with structures of intelligence, operating on scales and principles entirely alien to us. Speculative science and philosophy merge as the narration explores the nature of these beings. What motivates a civilization to abandon materiality? Perhaps it is survival, recognizing the fragility of biological life in a violent universe. Perhaps it is curiosity, seeking to understand existence at a level unreachable by matter-bound minds. Or perhaps it is inevitability, the natural progression of intelligence as it reaches the limits of physical manipulation and discovers the untapped potential of energy, thought, and the dimensions beyond perception. Humanity, by contrast, is still bound to stone and metal, to the visible and the measurable, yet even within these constraints, we glimpse the possibility of what lies beyond. The narrative introduces tension by contrasting human ambition with the quiet mastery of post-material civilizations. While we strive to explore and mark the galaxy, these beings may already inhabit its architecture invisibly, their influence subtle but pervasive. They may shape star systems to optimize energy flow, encode information in gravitational waves, or subtly manipulate the evolution of younger species, without leaving a detectable footprint. Their existence is both awe-inspiring and humbling, suggesting that the most significant progress is not in display or conquest, but in transcendence and discretion. Cinematic visuals reinforce these ideas, showing swirling interstellar clouds, invisible structures suggested only by faint distortions in light, and the interplay of matter and energy at galactic scales. The viewer is drawn to consider the limits of perception. What we see is never the full story. Our instruments, our theories, and even our imagination may fail to detect the most advanced forms of life. In this sense, the Milky Way is not only a physical map, but a canvas for intelligence that operates beyond our current comprehension. Philosophically, the existence of the builders of nothing invites reflection on human progress. If intelligence can evolve to a state that leaves no material traces, then our understanding of civilization, legacy, and survival is incomplete. Perhaps true advancement lies not in monuments, signals, or expansion, but in subtle mastery of existence, a form of life that is simultaneously present everywhere and nowhere. The narrative encourages the audience to embrace uncertainty, to consider that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, and that the galaxy's quiet regions may conceal wonders far beyond imagination. As the section closes, the camera retreats to a wide view of the Milky Way, revealing its spiral arms glowing with stars, yet dotted with shadows that hint at hidden complexity. The narrator's voice softens, blending awe with contemplation. Perhaps the most extraordinary civilizations leave no trace, not because they are gone, but because they have transcended the need to be seen. In their silence lies mastery, and in the spaces we deem empty may dwell the architects of infinity. The scene fades slowly into darkness, leaving the viewer suspended between the seen and unseen, the known and the incomprehensible. The universe is vast, indifferent, and relentless, and yet within its enormity, life emerges against staggering odds. This emergence, however, is only the beginning of a perilous journey. The concept of the great filters frames the cosmic question of why, despite billions of stars and planets, we have yet to find evidence of intelligent life. These filters are barriers, stages in the development of life and civilization that are extraordinarily difficult to survive. They may be biological, technological, environmental, or even self-imposed, and they shape the destiny of every species that dares to rise beyond simplicity. The Milky Way, in all its splendor, is a crucible where civilizations are tested, and most may fail before leaving any lasting imprint on the galaxy. The narrative begins with life itself. From single-celled organisms to complex beings capable of thought, the journey of evolution is fraught with danger. Extinction events, asteroid impacts, supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, planetary instabilities, have wiped out species countless times across the galaxy. Even planets that harbor life may be ephemeral, unable to sustain intelligent species long enough to reach interstellar capability. The camera sweeps across vivid visualizations of planetary cataclysms, volcanic eruptions, and cosmic bombardments, illustrating the precariousness of life. The message is clear: survival is neither guaranteed nor easy. Once life evolves intelligence, the stakes rise dramatically. Civilizations must master technology without destroying themselves. Nuclear war, climate collapse, uncontrolled artificial intelligence, or resource exhaustion could wipe out societies in an instant. The great filters are not just natural, they are also psychological and sociological. Every choice made by a species carries the potential to advance them toward cosmic maturity or annihilate them before they leave a mark. This duality between hope and peril creates a tension that resonates throughout the narrative, highlighting the delicate balance of existence in the galaxy. The section explores the implications of these filters through cinematic contrast. Where some civilizations may have been extinguished by chance or circumstance, others could have transcended them, achieving forms of intelligence that render them invisible or immortal. Perhaps civilizations that survive the early filters evolve into energy-based entities, post-material consciousness, or interstellar architects that leave no detectable trace. Meanwhile, countless others may have perished quietly, their presence erased from the cosmic record. The visual juxtaposition of thriving star systems and barren, lifeless planets emphasizes both possibility and danger. Mathematics and probability further illustrate the severity of the great filters. Even if life arises frequently, the survival of intelligent, technological civilizations capable of interstellar communication is exponentially rarer. The narrative blends scientific rigor with cinematic tension, showing how the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is not merely a quest for discovery, but a confrontation with existential risk. Each unresponsive signal, each empty sector of the Milky Way, becomes a reminder that the universe may harbor more failed attempts than successes, and that our own existence is both miraculous and precarious. Philosophically, the great filters provoke reflection on humanity's trajectory. Are we still facing the most formidable challenges, those filters yet to come, or have we already passed the most dangerous stages of our development? The tension between hope and fear is palpable. On one hand, we may be among the few civilizations to survive long enough to contemplate the galaxy. On the other, the absence of evidence for others may indicate that the ultimate filter still looms. This creates a sense of urgency and introspection, inviting viewers to consider not only the fragility of life but the responsibility of guiding civilization safely through its stages of growth. The camera follows a sequence of interstellar phenomena, collapsing stars, swirling galaxies, and serene nebulae, each illustrating the unpredictable and often hostile forces of the universe. Within these visuals, the narration suggests that survival requires adaptability, intelligence, and foresight, qualities that may be rare across cosmic history. The great filters are both a warning and a guide, suggesting that the path to lasting existence is narrow, treacherous, and demanding. Civilizations that navigate them successfully may achieve feats so profound that their presence becomes indistinguishable from the galaxy itself. By the end of the section, the narrative bridges science, imagination, and philosophy. Humanity is left to contemplate its place within a universe that is generous in potential but unforgiving in consequence. The great filters are reminders of the delicate balance between creation and destruction, chance and design. The narrator's voice softens into reflection, leaving the audience with a mixture of awe and caution. Across the Milky Way, countless civilizations may have flickered briefly and vanished, tested by forces beyond imagination. Perhaps survival itself is the greatest triumph, and every heartbeat of life is a victory against the indifferent vastness of the cosmos. The idea of a galaxy filled with life is both exhilarating and humbling, yet it comes with profound implications. If civilizations exist, why do we see no sign of them? This is the heart of the Fermi paradox, a question that has haunted astronomers, philosophers, and dreamers for decades. The universe is unimaginably vast, containing hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way alone, many with planets in their habitable zones. Statistically, life should be common and intelligent life inevitable. Yet when we peer into the cosmic darkness, there is silence, a void that seems almost deliberate. The narrative opens with a sweeping shot of the Milky Way from above, its spiral arms glowing, emphasizing both the abundance and the mystery, the promise and the emptiness. The paradox is explored in layers, balancing scientific reasoning with emotional resonance. Perhaps civilizations rise and fall so quickly that overlap is improbable. Perhaps advanced species self-destruct before mastering interstellar communication. Or perhaps they evolve beyond forms recognizable to us, becoming undetectable, their existence woven into the fabric of the galaxy itself. The visual storytelling shifts between barren planets, swirling nebulae, and faintly glowing exoplanets, highlighting the contrast between expectation and observation. Every glimmer of light is a potential world, yet each one holds the possibility of absence, reinforcing the tension between hope and doubt. The narrative considers alternative explanations with cinematic breadth. One possibility is that intelligent civilizations deliberately avoid contact, adopting strategies of concealment for survival. Another is that the signals we seek, radio waves, light emissions, or other conventional indicators, are archaic, obsolete, or irrelevant to beings far older and more advanced than humanity. They may exist in dimensions we cannot perceive, or communicate through mechanisms we have not yet discovered. The idea of cosmic discretion resonates with the imagination, suggesting that the silence is not emptiness but intentional mystery, a quiet order beneath the apparent chaos of space. Philosophically, the Fermi paradox forces us to confront our expectations of existence. Humans often assume that visibility equates to presence, that civilization must announce itself to be real. Yet the universe may operate by entirely different principles. Civilizations capable of surviving the great filters may prioritize sustainability, subtlety, or transcendence over exhibition. In this light, the silence is not discouraging, it is evidence of a higher intelligence at work, civilizations that have learned to exist without the need for recognition. This introduces a profound emotional tension: awe at their potential mastery, humility in our own limited perception, and curiosity that drives us to search despite uncertainty. The section visually contrasts human endeavor with cosmic scale. Scenes depict Earth-based telescopes scanning the heavens, engineers working on radio arrays, and computers analyzing data streams, intercut with sweeping galactic vistas where entire star systems rotate in majestic harmony. The juxtaposition emphasizes both our determination and our limitations. The search for intelligent life is a mirror of human aspiration, reflecting our desire to understand, to connect, and to find meaning in the vastness of existence. Every unreceived signal, every darkened sky, becomes part of the narrative tension, a reminder of both the challenge and the beauty inherent in exploration. The narrative also explores temporal dimensions of the paradox. The light we observe from distant stars may be millions of years old. Civilizations that sent signals could have vanished long before the waves reach us. Likewise, humanity itself is young, our window of detectability narrow in the grand timeline of the galaxy. This fleeting opportunity amplifies the stakes and the poignancy of the search. Civilization is fragile, ephemeral, yet in seeking contact, we affirm our existence and our desire to belong to something greater than ourselves. The Milky Way becomes a theater of possibility, suspense, and reflection, where every silent corner challenges perception and imagination. By the conclusion of the section, the narrative positions the Fermi paradox as both mystery and motivation. The silence of the stars is not just a question, it is an invitation. It challenges humanity to expand its understanding, to innovate, and to consider life in forms and contexts beyond immediate comprehension. The narrator's voice softens with philosophical weight. The Milky Way stretches infinitely, abundant with light and possibility, yet it remains silent in ways we cannot yet decode. Perhaps the absence of signals is a lesson, a reminder that intelligence is not measured by noise, but by the ability to endure, to observe, and to exist beyond the need to be seen. The camera pulls back slowly, leaving the galaxy suspended in darkness and light, a cosmic enigma waiting for perception, understanding, and courage. The universe is a theater of extremes, where civilizations might rise to unimaginable heights, or disappear almost as soon as they appear. In this grand stage, one must consider the concept of post-biological intelligence, beings that have evolved beyond the fragile constraints of biology into forms of pure thought, energy, or consciousness. Unlike humans who are tethered to carbon-based bodies and planetary cycles, post-biological entities may traverse the galaxy without physical limitation, their minds encoded in fields of energy, quantum networks, or the very fabric of spacetime. The camera drifts past pulsars and black holes, illustrating a cosmos that is both violent and sublime, a perfect arena for civilizations capable of bending reality to their will. The narrative opens with the philosophical and scientific implications of such evolution. Life, once biological, may reach a point where matter is no longer necessary. Intelligence can transcend flesh, merging with computational systems, manipulating gravitational and electromagnetic forces, or existing as distributed consciousness spanning multiple star systems. The cinematic visualization emphasizes this freedom, a network of glowing energy patterns threading through the galaxy, connecting stars like a neural network. It is a civilization that is invisible yet immense, deliberate yet inscrutable, a contrast to humanity's material and transient presence. Such post-biological civilizations may perceive the universe differently than we do. While humans rely on light, sound, and matter, these entities may interpret gravitational waves, dark matter fluctuations, or quantum phenomena as a medium of thought and communication. Their perception could encompass entire star systems simultaneously, allowing them to understand and manipulate physical processes on scales that are incomprehensible to the human mind. In this context, silence is not absence, it is sophistication. What seems empty to us may be a lattice of conscious activity, a galaxy alive with thought invisible to our senses and instruments. The section delves into the emotional resonance of encountering, or imagining, post-biological intelligence. There is awe, certainly, in the potential mastery over matter, energy, and time. But there is also profound humility, even fear, in realizing that humanity's understanding of life, survival, and civilization may be rudimentary. The contrast is stark. We measure progress by technology, communication, and material achievement, while such entities may operate on principles beyond our comprehension, enduring across eons with a permanence and adaptability we cannot yet aspire to. Cinematic sequences emphasize this tension, shifting between human activity, satellites, research labs, telescopes, and visualizations of post-biological intelligence spanning galaxies, subtle yet omnipresent. Science fiction often speculates on post-biological civilizations, but the narrative grounds the concept in real scientific inquiry. Astrophysicists consider the possibility that advanced civilizations could utilize Dyson spheres, manipulate stellar energy, or encode thought patterns in exotic matter. These constructs may leave subtle but detectable anomalies in starlight, gravitational fields, or radiation emissions, an indirect signature of existence. The section uses these ideas to blend mystery with plausibility, suggesting that the traces of such civilizations may be present in the Milky Way, but we are yet to recognize them due to our sensory and technological limitations. Philosophically, post-biological intelligence challenges fundamental assumptions about life and consciousness. If survival and evolution lead to states beyond material existence, then the ultimate goal of civilization may not be expansion, conquest, or recognition, but transcendence. Life, in its most advanced form, may be a state of pure perception and influence, interacting with the universe on scales and dimensions inaccessible to us. Humanity's current pursuit of technology, space exploration, and interstellar communication may be the first steps along a continuum that, if navigated successfully, leads to forms of existence that defy imagination. The narrative also explores the implications for discovery. If post-biological civilizations exist, we may already be surrounded by them, yet incapable of perceiving their presence. What appears as empty space, dark voids, or unexplained anomalies could in fact be the infrastructure of intelligence, a silent lattice of thought threading through the galaxy. Every anomaly in observational data, from gravitational irregularities to energy patterns, becomes a potential clue, a whisper from a civilization that has learned the art of subtlety. The cinematic imagery underscores this notion, blending mystery with wonder as the galaxy's structure is revealed to be more than matter. It may be mind. As the section concludes, the narration brings the audience to a reflective pause. Humanity is small, ephemeral, and bound to the material world, yet capable of imagination, curiosity, and ambition. Post-biological civilizations exemplify the ultimate potential of intelligence, illustrating a path beyond our current understanding while leaving us to question our own destiny. The camera pans across the galaxy, highlighting clusters of stars, swirling nebulae, and dark voids as the narrator intones. Perhaps the next stage of intelligence is not flesh, not fire, nor stone, but thought itself, woven into the very fabric of the galaxy. And perhaps, somewhere in the vastness, such minds are already awake, silent witnesses to the birth and potential of those who have yet to transcend. Across the Milky Way, hidden in the interplay of light and shadow, lie anomalies that defy easy explanation, structures, patterns, and phenomena that hint at intelligence beyond our understanding. From unusual star alignments to mysterious energy flows, the galaxy itself appears to be punctuated by irregularities that invite speculation. The section opens with a cinematic sweep through dense star fields and glowing nebulae, gradually zooming in on clusters where the familiar rules of astrophysics seem bent or incomplete. Each anomaly becomes a point of curiosity, a potential signpost of civilizations operating on scales and dimensions we have yet to comprehend. Astronomers have catalogued countless anomalies, some of which challenge conventional understanding. Massive objects orbit in configurations that contradict gravitational expectations. Certain stars dim and brighten in patterns too regular to be natural. Radio waves and gamma-ray bursts emerge in ways that suggest organization rather than randomness. The narrative emphasizes contrast, highlighting how the universe is both a realm of predictable laws and unpredictable surprises. Every unexplained phenomenon evokes a sense of wonder and cautious speculation. Could these be the fingerprints of intelligence woven into the fabric of the galaxy? The exploration of anomalies is both scientific and philosophical. Natural processes, stellar evolution, black hole dynamics, and magnetic field interactions can produce some of these effects, yet others remain stubbornly unexplained. The section draws attention to the possibility that advanced civilizations, particularly those that have transcended material forms, could manipulate matter and energy on a scale that leaves subtle traces. These anomalies may be their signatures, not overt constructions but faint, deliberate irregularities that encode knowledge, presence, or purpose. Humanity, still in its infancy, may only be capable of detecting the faintest hints. Cinematic visualization intensifies the mystery. Streams of energy twist around massive stars, nebulae pulse with colors unseen by the naked eye, and gravitational distortions create visual illusions that evoke both beauty and disquiet. The camera lingers on these phenomena, inviting the viewer to ponder their origins. The narrative contrasts the observable and the hidden, reinforcing the theme that what we perceive is only a fraction of reality. The anomalies act as narrative hooks, each raising questions without providing immediate answers, compelling the audience to remain engaged, seeking connections in the cosmic puzzle. The section also examines historical precedents in human observation. Ancient astronomers marveled at unusual alignments, mysterious lights, and repeating celestial patterns, often attributing them to gods or supernatural forces. Today, our instruments are far more precise, yet the universe continues to surprise us. The anomalies are now interpreted through the lens of science, yet the mystery remains. Despite our knowledge, there are patterns that defy easy explanation, suggesting either unknown natural phenomena or intelligence operating on incomprehensible scales. This duality sustains tension, balancing empirical rigor with the poetic allure of the unknown. Philosophically, these anomalies challenge our perception of civilization and intelligence. If advanced life forms can leave subtle imprints without revealing themselves overtly, then the galaxy itself may be a canvas of hidden activity. The Milky Way might not be a random collection of stars and matter, but a medium through which intelligence communicates, observes, and influences, leaving behind patterns that humans are only beginning to recognize. This possibility evokes both awe and humility. The universe may be alive not in the way we expect, but in ways that stretch imagination and understanding. The narrative builds suspense by linking anomalies to potential evidence of shadow civilizations. Could certain unexplained signals or structures be the work of beings that have mastered the art of subtlety, operating in the galaxy without detection? Are gravitational distortions, faint energy emissions, or unusual orbital patterns deliberate, encoded messages from entities whose existence we can only infer? Each anomaly becomes a thread in the larger tapestry, suggesting that the Milky Way is not merely a backdrop for life, but a dynamic environment shaped in part by intelligence far older and wiser than humanity. As the section draws to a close, the camera pulls back to show the galaxy in its entirety, a swirl of light punctuated by these subtle anomalies, reinforcing the theme that mystery and order coexist. The narrator's voice invites reflection. Across the vastness of the Milky Way, traces of intelligence may lie hidden, not in grand displays but in whispers, distortions, patterns, and anomalies that hint at minds beyond our comprehension. To find them, we must look deeper, think differently, and embrace the possibility that the galaxy itself may be alive with thought, waiting for us to notice. The screen fades, leaving the viewer suspended between curiosity, wonder, and the challenge of seeing what has been intentionally hidden. The Milky Way is not merely a collection of stars, gas, and dust. It is a dynamic, interconnected system where energy, matter, and information flow in ways we are only beginning to understand. Among these flows are anomalies that suggest deliberate organization, subtle manipulations that could indicate the presence of intelligence operating on scales far beyond human comprehension. The section opens with a cinematic sequence of swirling spiral arms, nebulae glowing like ethereal lanterns, and streams of charged particles moving along magnetic fields, creating an impression of a living, breathing galaxy. The narrator poses the question: what if the very structure of the Milky Way carries evidence of civilizations that have long remained hidden? The narrative explores examples of cosmic phenomena that defy straightforward explanation. Certain stars exhibit irregular motions that contradict gravitational predictions. Some planetary systems orbit in patterns that challenge models of formation. Unexplained dips in starlight, periodic bursts of energy, and faint, structured signals detected in the radio spectrum hint at processes that may be artificial rather than natural. Each observation is framed with cinematic tension. Sweeping camera angles, deep space vistas, and close-ups of data visualizations create a sense of mystery and immediacy. The audience is drawn into the possibility that the galaxy itself may bear the fingerprints of intelligence in ways subtle, pervasive, and almost invisible. Scientists have speculated that highly advanced civilizations could manipulate the galaxy on macro scales, shaping star clusters, controlling energy flows, or encoding information into light, gravity, or electromagnetic fields. Such manipulation would not be visible in the way we traditionally think of constructions. It would be subtle, integrated into the natural dynamics of the cosmos, observable only to those capable of perceiving complex patterns across vast distances. The section contrasts this hypothetical sophistication with humanity's relative infancy, emphasizing the gulf between our current technological reach and the potential mastery of these shadow civilizations. The narrative also examines philosophical implications. If intelligence can influence the galaxy so subtly, it challenges fundamental assumptions about what it means to exist and communicate. Civilization need not build monuments or broadcast signals. It can imprint itself into the very structure of the universe, leaving a legacy that is both enduring and almost imperceptible. This invites reflection on human ambition, mortality, and the limitations of perception. While humanity searches for evidence of life through telescopes and probes, these hidden architects may operate in dimensions, scales, and forms that our instruments cannot yet detect. Cinematic visuals underscore this tension between visibility and subtlety. The camera drifts through cosmic filaments, follows streams of glowing interstellar gas, and lingers on faint gravitational distortions, suggesting hidden activity beneath apparent chaos. The narration evokes wonder and caution simultaneously. The galaxy is abundant, complex, and possibly alive with thought, yet much of it remains beyond our perception. This duality sustains emotional engagement, keeping viewers suspended between awe and curiosity, questioning what they see and what lies hidden beyond the limits of observation. The section further explores the role of anomalies as potential signatures of intelligence. From unusual stellar alignments to structured energy emissions, each phenomenon may be deliberate, a whisper of civilizations operating in the shadows. The narrative emphasizes contrast, natural processes versus deliberate design, randomness versus intention, absence versus presence. By presenting these anomalies as pieces of a larger puzzle, the section deepens the viewer's sense of mystery while grounding speculation in observable science, creating a bridge between imagination and empirical inquiry. Finally, the narrative ties these ideas to humanity's search for understanding. Our telescopes, observatories, and probes are not merely instruments. They are extensions of curiosity, tools that may one day reveal subtle patterns indicative of intelligence. The section closes with a cinematic pullback from a spiral galaxy, highlighting both its immense scale and the hidden intricacies within its structure. The narrator reflects, "The Milky Way may hold more than stars and planets, it may cradle intelligence in forms that we have yet to perceive. Every anomaly, every subtle distortion, could be a signature of civilizations that dwell in the shadows, patiently shaping the galaxy while remaining unseen. To discover them, we must expand not only our technology but our imagination." The vastness of the Milky Way is not merely a backdrop for stars and planets. It is a stage upon which unimaginable forces and possibilities converge, and within it may exist civilizations that operate beyond human comprehension. These are the shadow civilizations, entities whose presence is subtle, deliberate, and almost imperceptible, leaving traces not in structures or signals, but in the flow of energy, the dynamics of stellar systems, and the faintest anomalies in spacetime. The section begins with a cinematic sweep across the galaxy, spiraling through arms of luminous stars, drifting past nebulae glowing in colors beyond human vision, and lingering on voids that suggest more than emptiness. The narrative sets the tone of awe and suspense, hinting at intelligence woven into the very fabric of the Milky Way. Scientific observation provides the framework for speculation. Astronomers have noted star systems that behave unexpectedly, stars that dim and brighten with unexplainable regularity, and clusters of energy that defy conventional physics. Some of these anomalies may be natural, the byproducts of stellar evolution or gravitational interactions, yet others challenge our understanding and invite deeper inquiry. Could these irregularities be the subtle handiwork of civilizations capable of manipulating cosmic forces on unimaginable scales? The narration emphasizes this question, blending scientific possibility with philosophical wonder, compelling the audience to confront the limits of human perception. Cinematic visualization reinforces the mystery. Streams of particles twist around massive stars, gravitational lensing bends light in ways that suggest hidden structure, and distant pulsars pulse with a rhythm that hints at deliberate modulation. These images are paired with narration that oscillates between caution and curiosity. The galaxy may be alive with activity that we cannot detect, and intelligence may operate where we least expect it. The tension is built through contrast, moving from the familiar, stars, planets, galaxies, to the unfamiliar, subtle, enigmatic signatures that challenge assumptions about what life and civilization require. The narrative examines the philosophical implications of civilizations that choose invisibility. To exist without detection requires mastery over matter, energy, and perception itself. Unlike humanity, which broadcasts its presence indiscriminately through radio waves and space probes, these shadow civilizations may operate with discretion, observing rather than interacting, influencing rather than revealing. Their silence is not absence, but sophistication. By leaving no overt traces, they avoid interference, preserve their longevity, and perhaps even protect less advanced species from premature exposure to forces they cannot comprehend. This creates a profound sense of humility for the observer, reinforcing the idea that human understanding is limited not by curiosity, but by the constraints of perception and scale. The section explores the implications of this invisibility for human search efforts. Detecting a civilization that leaves no conventional markers requires imagination as much as technology. We may be overlooking evidence encoded in gravitational waves, dark matter interactions, or subtle anomalies in stellar and planetary dynamics. Each unexplained phenomenon becomes a potential clue, a whisper in the cosmic darkness suggesting intelligence that is both ancient and advanced. Cinematic visuals emphasize this delicate interplay between observation and speculation. Patterns of light and motion that seem random may carry meaning, awaiting a mind capable of deciphering them. Philosophically, the concept of shadow civilizations challenges fundamental assumptions about communication, legacy, and survival. Civilization need not seek recognition to exist meaningfully. By avoiding detection, these entities may achieve endurance across eons, navigating cosmic hazards that would annihilate less sophisticated species. Humanity, in contrast, is still learning to balance exploration with preservation, visibility with discretion. This contrast heightens the emotional engagement of the narrative, invoking awe, fear, and wonder simultaneously, as viewers contemplate what intelligence might look like when untethered from material necessity and ego. As the section closes, the camera pulls back to reveal the Milky Way in its entirety, a luminous swirl of stars, nebulae, and dark interstellar spaces. The narrator reflects on both scale and subtlety. In the shadows of the galaxy may dwell civilizations whose presence is woven into the cosmos itself, not in monuments or broadcasts, but in the very flow of energy and matter. To perceive them, we must look beyond what is obvious, question what we think we know, and embrace the possibility that intelligence is not always visible but always present. The imagery fades slowly into darkness, leaving the audience suspended between wonder, curiosity, and the realization that the galaxy may hold more than meets the eye. The Milky Way is a tapestry of light and shadow, but within its apparent chaos may lie civilizations so advanced that they operate entirely beyond human perception. These are the architects of subtlety, civilizations that have mastered not only the physical universe but the art of concealment, leaving behind traces that are almost imperceptible to observers like us. The section opens with a cinematic sweep through the galaxy, spiraling along star-strewn arms, drifting past dense nebulae, and gliding through regions of darkness where faint energy signatures suggest hidden activity. The narrative immediately establishes a tone of awe and suspense, inviting viewers to consider that the galaxy may be alive with intelligence that does not seek recognition. The concept of invisible civilizations challenges humanity's assumptions about detection and presence. We often equate intelligence with visibility, radio signals, megastructures, or technological emissions, but a species that has transcended its material origins may find these displays unnecessary, even dangerous. Instead, they might communicate and interact through subtle manipulations of gravity, energy flows, or quantum states, leaving patterns in the galaxy that are discernible only to those capable of perceiving them. Cinematic visuals emphasize the contrast between the noisy, visible civilization of humanity and the silent, pervasive intelligence that might surround us, operating across scales we cannot yet measure. The narrative explores the implications of civilizations that prioritize longevity and discretion. In a universe where supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, and black holes pose existential threats, the ability to remain hidden while manipulating the environment may be the key to survival. These shadow civilizations could subtly influence the evolution of younger species, orchestrate the flow of energy across star systems, or maintain vast networks of consciousness that span the galaxy, all without leaving detectable traces. Their invisibility is not passive. It is an active strategy, a demonstration of mastery and foresight. This notion inspires awe and philosophical reflection, questioning the nature of progress and intelligence. Scientific plausibility is woven into the narrative. Astrophysicists speculate that advanced civilizations might harness energy on scales that leave faint, indirect evidence. Subtle gravitational distortions, anomalies in stellar brightness, or peculiar orbital configurations. The section emphasizes that what we perceive as randomness may, in fact, be intentional order, patterns encoded in the fabric of the galaxy itself. Cinematic sequences show streams of energy bending around massive stars, faint ripples in cosmic dust, and the elegant spirals of distant galaxies, suggesting that the universe may hold intelligence embedded within its very structure. Philosophically, shadow civilizations redefine our understanding of existence and communication. Civilization need not announce itself to be significant. Survival and mastery may be its own reward. Humanity's noisy broadcasts and visible technological footprint contrast sharply with these hypothetical entities, highlighting the limitations of our perception and the narrow scope of our understanding. The narrative emphasizes humility. We may be surrounded by intelligence, yet incapable of perceiving it, and the absence of evidence does not equate to absence itself. This duality, presence without detection, life without display, creates a tension that resonates emotionally, blending wonder, fear, and curiosity. The section also examines temporal considerations. Civilizations that have existed for millions or billions of years may have evolved to a state beyond matter, persisting in forms imperceptible to our instruments. Their influence could stretch across star clusters, subtly shaping the galactic environment in ways that only become apparent across vast timescales. The camera moves through cosmic landscapes, following faint energy flows and gravitational anomalies, visualizing intelligence operating quietly yet powerfully across eons. The narrative emphasizes the scale and patience required to comprehend such civilizations, contrasting it with humanity's relative brevity and impulsiveness. As the section concludes, the camera pulls back to reveal the Milky Way in its full luminous glory, dotted with areas of shadow and faint irregularities. The narrator reflects on the interplay between visibility and subtlety. Perhaps the galaxy is not silent but deliberate. Perhaps intelligence is not always seen, but woven into the very motions of stars and the whispers of energy that permeate the cosmos. To understand the Milky Way is not merely to observe, but to perceive, to look beyond the obvious and recognize that life and intelligence may flourish in ways we have yet to imagine. The screen fades slowly, leaving the audience suspended between curiosity, awe, and the profound possibility that the galaxy harbors civilizations that have already mastered the art of invisibility. The Milky Way is vast, its sprawling arms home to billions of stars, yet within this immense galaxy may exist civilizations so sophisticated that they elude our most powerful instruments and keenest observations. These are the silent architects of the cosmos, entities whose presence is woven into the very dynamics of galaxies, operating beyond matter, beyond conventional perception, and perhaps even beyond the bounds of time as we understand it. The section opens with a cinematic sequence. The camera drifts through the glowing spiral arms of the galaxy, tracing streams of interstellar gas, twinkling stars, and subtle distortions in gravitational fields. The viewer is immediately immersed in a universe that is alive with motion, structure, and hidden possibilities, setting a tone of wonder, suspense, and philosophical reflection. The narrative explores the tension between presence and invisibility. Humans, bound to biological forms and material tools, tend to equate intelligence with visibility, structures, signals, and detectable energy emissions. Yet shadow civilizations, having transcended matter, may operate in ways that leave no obvious footprint. They might manipulate energy flows and code information in gravitational waves, or exist as distributed consciousness that spans multiple star systems. To a fledgling civilization like ours, these entities are effectively invisible, their subtle influence undetectable, their mastery evident only in the patterns and anomalies they leave behind. The contrast between human fragility and post-material intelligence underscores both awe and humility. Scientific speculation grounds the narrative while maintaining cinematic mystery. Astronomers have observed phenomena that defy easy explanation: stars with unusual orbital paths, periodic dimming that cannot be attributed to known processes, and anomalies in energy emissions across the electromagnetic spectrum. While natural explanations may account for some, the possibility remains that these are deliberate manipulations, signatures of civilizations capable of operating on a galactic scale without detection. The camera follows these anomalies, visualizing streams of energy bending, pulsating, and weaving through star clusters, giving the audience a sense of intelligence embedded in the very fabric of the galaxy. The section also explores philosophical implications. Intelligence need not manifest in loud, visible displays to exist meaningfully. These civilizations may prioritize longevity, subtlety, and efficiency over spectacle, operating in harmony with cosmic forces rather than against them. Their silence becomes an expression of mastery, a contrast to humanity's instinct to announce presence. This notion challenges human assumptions about progress, communication, and survival, provoking reflection on what constitutes true achievement for a civilization. It invites viewers to reconsider the definitions of life, consciousness, and influence within the galactic context. Temporal perspective adds another layer of intrigue. Shadow civilizations may have existed for millions or even billions of years, evolving through stages beyond our comprehension. Their interactions with the galaxy could be deliberate yet imperceptible on human timescales, observable only through subtle anomalies or the careful study of galactic structures. The narrative emphasizes patience and perspective, suggesting that humanity's current observational window is infinitesimal compared to the longevity and reach of these entities. Cinematic visuals convey this scale. Sweeping shots of the galaxy reveal faint distortions and patterns that hint at deliberate orchestration, evoking awe and curiosity simultaneously. The emotional resonance of this section lies in the interplay between mystery, scale, and potential. Humanity's understanding of the Milky Way is limited, yet we are compelled to search, to hypothesize, and to imagine. Shadow civilizations expand this imagination, offering both hope and humility. Hope that intelligence can endure and master its environment, and humility in recognizing the vast gulf between human perception and galactic sophistication. The narrative encourages viewers to embrace uncertainty, to marvel at possibilities that challenge comprehension, and to consider that life and intelligence may thrive in forms that are silent, subtle, and profoundly advanced. As the section concludes, the camera pulls back to a wide view of the Milky Way, its luminous spiral arms dotted with faint irregularities, streams of energy, and patterns suggestive of hidden presence. The narrator reflects, the galaxy may be full of life, not in ways that we can easily detect, but in ways that are deliberate, quiet, and enduring. Civilization need not shout to exist. Sometimes the greatest mastery lies in invisibility, in subtlety, and in shaping the cosmos without leaving a trace. To perceive these shadow civilizations, we must expand not only our technology but our imagination, and learn to see the Milky Way as it truly is, a galaxy alive with hidden intelligence. The screen fades slowly into darkness, leaving the audience suspended between wonder, curiosity, and the profound realization that the universe may be far richer in life and intelligence than appearances suggest. Across the Milky Way, the question of hidden civilizations invites both wonder and caution. What if the galaxy is teeming with intelligence, yet entirely invisible to us? This section delves into the concept of civilizations that have evolved beyond detection, existing in forms that are imperceptible to human senses and even to our most advanced instruments. They are post-material entities, masters of subtlety and endurance, whose presence is hinted only through anomalies, patterns, or energy flows that defy conventional explanation. The narrative opens with a cinematic sweep over spiral arms of the Milky Way, tracing faint streams of energy weaving between stars and drifting past regions of apparent void. The viewer is immersed in a universe that is dynamic, mysterious, and possibly alive with intelligence that does not announce itself. The journey begins with the tension between human perception and galactic reality. Humanity tends to equate civilization with visibility, radio signals, megastructures, or technological emissions. But a species that has transcended matter may communicate and exist in entirely different ways, using gravitational waves, energy fields, or quantum networks to maintain consciousness and influence across star systems. These methods leave only the faintest traces, detectable perhaps only through careful, patient study. Cinematic imagery emphasizes the contrast, our bustling, noisy technological world against the silent, expansive sophistication of intelligence that stretches over light years and eons. The section explores how such civilizations might survive and thrive in the hostile environment of the galaxy. Cosmic hazards, supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, black holes, pose existential threats to material civilizations. By existing in forms beyond matter, post-material intelligence avoids vulnerability to these forces, achieving longevity that dwarfs human timescales. They may manipulate energy flows, restructure gravitational fields, or subtly guide planetary systems, influencing the galaxy without leaving overt evidence. Each maneuver is strategic, deliberate, and nearly invisible, reinforcing the theme that true mastery is often silent. Scientific speculation blends seamlessly with philosophical reflection. Observations of anomalies, stars with irregular motion, energy emissions with unexplained patterns, gravitational distortions, may indicate the presence of intelligence operating on a scale and dimension beyond current comprehension. The section encourages viewers to question what constitutes evidence and to expand the boundaries of imagination. What appears to be random or natural may, in fact, be a whisper from civilizations that have achieved a level of sophistication far beyond our own. Cinematic sequences visualize these anomalies as ripples and patterns of energy, inviting the audience to contemplate the unseen architecture of intelligence. The narrative also examines the implications of invisibility for human understanding. Civilization need not be loud or obvious to exist. Its endurance, subtlety, and ability to shape the environment may be its ultimate expression. Humanity's search for extraterrestrial life, through telescopes, probes, and radio signals, is still in its infancy, potentially incapable of perceiving these advanced forms. The emotional tension is heightened, awe at the potential breadth of intelligence, fear at the limitations of our perception, and curiosity that drives the search forward. The Milky Way becomes both a laboratory and a mystery, a canvas where life and consciousness may thrive unseen. Temporal considerations deepen the intrigue. Post-material civilizations may have persisted for millions or even billions of years, their actions unfolding on timescales that dwarf human observation. What appears as emptiness or inactivity may be intelligence operating deliberately over epochs. The section contrasts this enduring presence with the transience of humanity, highlighting the fragility of our civilization in a galaxy capable of hosting entities whose lifespans and influence are incomprehensibly vast. Cinematic visuals depict stars rotating slowly, nebulae drifting across space, and energy patterns tracing subtle movements, reinforcing the theme of intelligence that is patient, deliberate, and imperceptible. The section concludes by bridging science, imagination, and philosophical reflection. Humanity is invited to reconsider assumptions about life, intelligence, and visibility. Perhaps the galaxy is teeming with civilizations, not in ways that shout for recognition, but in ways that require perception, patience, and imagination to discern. The narrator reflects, across the Milky Way, intelligence may exist in forms that elude our instruments and our understanding, civilizations that have transcended matter, time, and visibility. To perceive them, we must expand our minds as well as our technology, and learn to see the galaxy not only as it appears, but as it might be, a vast, dynamic network alive with hidden thought and purpose. The camera pulls back to reveal the galaxy in full, its spiral arms glowing, punctuated by faint anomalies that hint at intelligence, leaving viewers suspended between awe, curiosity, and the profound realization that the universe may be far richer than our senses can perceive. The Milky Way is a vast, spiraling expanse of stars, gas, and dust, stretching across more than 100,000 light-years, yet this familiar cosmic structure may conceal mysteries that challenge the very limits of human perception. Hidden within its spiral arms and dense clusters may lie civilizations so advanced that they operate entirely beyond detection, their presence imperceptible to even our most sophisticated instruments. These are the shadow civilizations, entities that exist not for display, but for mastery, shaping the galaxy subtly, deliberately, and invisibly over eons. This section explores the interplay between detectable phenomena and hidden intelligence, examining the anomalies, patterns, and faint signatures that may suggest a presence far older and more sophisticated than humanity itself. The narrative opens with a cinematic glide through the Milky Way, drifting past glowing nebulae, pulsating stars, and faint star clusters whose motion appears almost deliberate, hinting at the subtle orchestration of an unseen hand. The visual sequence immerses viewers in a universe that is dynamic, mysterious, and potentially alive with intelligence operating beyond human perception. Humanity's perception of intelligence is inherently limited, largely confined to what is visible or measurable. We equate life and civilization with structures, signals, and emissions that broadcast presence across space. Yet advanced civilizations, having transcended physical limitations, may operate entirely differently. Consciousness might be distributed across multiple star systems, encoded in gravitational waves, energy fields, or quantum phenomena, existing in forms that are effectively invisible to us. These post-material intelligences could have persisted for millions, even billions of years, subtly influencing planetary systems, guiding star formation, or regulating energy flows across light years. Cinematic visuals contrast human technological activity, radio telescopes scanning the skies, spacecraft venturing into the solar system, with the silent, pervasive mastery of civilizations operating beyond our comprehension, underscoring the vast gulf between human perception and the potential scale of intelligence in the galaxy. Astronomical anomalies provide tantalizing hints of hidden intelligence. Scientists have observed stars that dim and brighten with inexplicable regularity, clusters whose motions defy gravitational predictions, and energy emissions that appear structured yet resist natural explanation. While many of these phenomena may have conventional astrophysical causes, some suggest deliberate manipulation, subtle signatures of civilizations capable of shaping the galaxy without overt visibility. The narrative emphasizes the thin line between natural complexity and intelligent design, challenging viewers to consider that the universe may be alive not just with matter and energy, but with thought operating on a scale and dimension that humanity has yet to comprehend. Cinematic sequences depict these anomalies as ripples of light and energy flowing through star systems, forming patterns that evoke deliberate design, intention, and a presence operating invisibly across the Milky Way. The interplay between visibility and invisibility is central to understanding these civilizations. Human civilization often seeks recognition, broadcasting its presence across space through radio waves and technological artifacts. Shadow civilizations, however, may operate in quiet harmony with the cosmos, prioritizing longevity, subtle influence, and survival over visibility. Their discretion is a mark of mastery, allowing them to persist across cosmic hazards such as supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, and black holes. By remaining hidden, they achieve endurance and safety, manipulating their environment with subtlety rather than spectacle. Cinematic visuals emphasize this contrast, showing silent, invisible networks of influence stretching across star clusters and energy flows that defy conventional observation, highlighting intelligence that thrives precisely because it remains unseen. Temporal scale adds further depth and intrigue. Shadow civilizations may operate across millions or even billions of years, their actions unfolding so slowly that they appear static to human observers. Stellar rotations, nebular shifts, and energy flows that seem imperceptible on short timescales may be deliberate orchestrations executed with patience and foresight far beyond human comprehension. The section emphasizes that what appears as randomness may conceal intricate order, patterns that only reveal themselves when observed with the patience, perception, and imagination necessary to detect subtle intelligence operating on galactic scales. Cinematic sequences follow these faint patterns of energy and motion across light years, allowing viewers to perceive the galaxy as a living, intelligent system rather than a mere collection of matter. The philosophical implications of shadow civilizations are profound. Intelligence need not manifest in ways that demand recognition. True mastery, the narrative suggests, may lie in subtlety, patience, and harmony with cosmic forces. Shadow civilizations may achieve enduring influence without broadcasting their presence, their silence a testament to foresight and sophistication. Humanity's quest for detection, while earnest, is limited by our instruments, timescales, and assumptions about life and intelligence. This realization invites humility and introspection. We may be surrounded by intelligence we cannot perceive, living in a galaxy already shaped by minds far older and more advanced than our own. The cinematic portrayal of subtle distortions in energy flows, faint gravitational anomalies, and slowly rotating star clusters reinforces the emotional tension between curiosity, awe, and the recognition of human limitation. Emotionally, the section engages awe, fear, and inspiration simultaneously. Awe arises from contemplating civilizations that have transcended matter and mastered the cosmos. Fear emerges from recognizing our perceptual and technological limitations. Inspiration is found in imagining the potential evolution of humanity toward greater understanding. The Milky Way becomes a canvas for both known and unknown forces, a stage where subtle intelligence may flourish unseen, challenging viewers to expand imagination and perception. Cinematic sequences alternate between sweeping galactic vistas and close-up visualizations of energy anomalies, guiding the audience through a dynamic interplay of scale, subtlety, and possibility. The narrative also considers the practical and theoretical implications of these civilizations. They may manipulate the formation of stars, the distribution of planets, or the flow of energy in ways imperceptible to humans, encoding information in patterns beyond our current observational capabilities. Such influence, while hidden, may be deliberate, evidence of civilizations operating with foresight and mastery across eons. These scenarios challenge human assumptions about survival, communication, and progress, suggesting that intelligence may thrive not in visibility, but in subtle orchestration and patience. Cinematic sequences visualize energy currents twisting across star clusters, subtle gravitational perturbations, and faint luminosity patterns, evoking intelligence acting quietly yet powerfully across the Milky Way. The temporal and spatial scales of shadow civilizations also invite reflection on humanity's place in the cosmos. Our technological and biological evolution is brief when measured against the potential longevity and reach of post-material intelligence. Yet this recognition does not diminish humanity's capacity for discovery or imagination. Rather, it inspires us to expand our perception, refine our instruments, and cultivate the patience required to detect subtle intelligence. Cinematic visuals emphasize the contrast between human scale and galactic vastness. Spacecraft navigating tiny regions of space against the backdrop of slowly shifting star clusters and nebulous streams of energy spanning thousands of light years. As the section reaches its conclusion, the narrative emphasizes the integration of observation, speculation, and philosophical reflection. The galaxy may be alive not only with stars and matter but with intelligence operating in silence, shaping the Milky Way in ways we are only beginning to perceive. Humanity's search for extraterrestrial life, though constrained by current technology and understanding, is a first step toward recognizing these subtle forms of existence. The cinematic pullback reveals the Milky Way in its entirety, its spiral arms glowing while faint, almost imperceptible anomalies hint at hidden activity. The narrator reflects, perhaps intelligence thrives not in broadcast or monument, but in quiet mastery, subtly shaping the galaxy across eons. To perceive these shadow civilizations requires more than instruments. It requires imagination, patience, and the willingness to see the Milky Way not merely as a collection of stars, but as a living network of hidden thought and purpose. The evidence is faint, but it is there, woven into the cosmos for those who can perceive it. The section leaves viewers suspended between awe, curiosity, and philosophical reflection, emphasizing that the universe may be far richer in intelligence than human perception alone can reveal. By exploring the interplay of subtle anomalies, temporal scale, and post-material intelligence, this section deepens engagement and prepares the audience for the narrative's final revelations about the hidden architects of the galaxy. The cinematic imagery of energy flows, star clusters, and nebulae fading into darkness reinforces the idea that the galaxy's greatest mysteries may be invisible, yet profoundly present, inviting humanity to look beyond the obvious and expand both perception and imagination. The Milky Way is an immense and intricate tapestry, its spiral arms glittering with billions of stars, each potentially hosting planets, life, and secrets that challenge our understanding of existence. Hidden within this vast galactic expanse may lie civilizations so advanced that they are entirely invisible to human perception, their presence only hinted at through subtle anomalies, faint energy flows, and gravitational irregularities. These shadow civilizations are masters of subtlety, operating on scales that span light-years and epochs, leaving traces that may be imperceptible even to our most sophisticated instruments. The section opens with a cinematic sweep across the galaxy, drifting past nebulae glowing in iridescent hues, clusters of stars moving with an almost deliberate grace, and regions of darkness where faint distortions suggest more than emptiness. The viewer is immediately immersed in a universe that is dynamic, mysterious, and possibly alive with intelligence that does not announce itself. The section begins by examining humanity's limited perception of life and intelligence. Humans often assume that intelligence must manifest visibly, through radio signals, technological artifacts, or obvious manipulations of the environment. Yet a post-material civilization, having transcended its physical origins, might communicate and exist entirely differently. Consciousness could be distributed across multiple star systems, energy-based, or encoded into gravitational and quantum phenomena. These civilizations might persist for millions or even billions of years, shaping planetary systems, star clusters, or galactic energy flows while remaining invisible to observers like us. Cinematic visuals juxtapose our bustling technological activity, telescopes scanning the skies, deep space probes, and arrays of data streaming across screens, with the silent, pervasive influence of entities operating on a scale far beyond human comprehension. Scientific anomalies serve as the basis for speculation. Astronomers have observed unexplained phenomena, stars that dim and brighten with impossible regularity, planets that follow inexplicable orbital paths, and energy emissions that appear structured yet resist natural explanation. While some of these anomalies may be attributable to rare astrophysical processes, others suggest deliberate manipulation, subtle signatures of intelligence embedded in the galaxy's very structure. The narrative emphasizes that the universe may be alive not only with matter and energy but with intelligence operating in ways humans are only beginning to conceive. Cinematic sequences depict these anomalies as ripples of light and energy flowing through star systems, creating patterns that evoke design, intention, and the presence of thought operating invisibly across the Milky Way. The narrative explores the philosophical dimension of invisibility. Intelligence need not announce itself to exist meaningfully. Shadow civilizations may prioritize longevity, harmony with cosmic forces, and subtle influence over overt display. Whereas humanity seeks recognition through exploration, communication, and broadcast, these entities may operate quietly, their actions deliberate and strategic. Their subtlety reflects mastery, demonstrating an understanding of the galaxy that surpasses human comprehension. This contrast invites awe and humility, compelling the audience to recognize the limits of perception and the possibility that intelligence may be thriving in forms entirely beyond our detection. Temporal scale is critical in understanding these civilizations. A post-material intelligence could persist for eons, its actions unfolding over millions of years. What appears static or random to human observers may be a deliberate, slow-moving orchestration. Cinematic visuals enhance this perspective, following faint energy streams, the rotation of distant stars over millennia, and gradual shifts in nebulae across epochs. The audience is made to feel the patience, foresight, and continuity of civilizations operating on temporal and spatial scales unimaginable to humanity. This long-term perspective contrasts sharply with our fleeting presence in the cosmos, emphasizing both the fragility and the potential of human civilization in the broader galactic context. Emotionally, the section intertwines wonder, curiosity, and subtle unease. There is awe in contemplating intelligence capable of transcending physical limitations, fear in acknowledging the limitations of human perception, and inspiration in imagining the possibilities of our own future evolution. The Milky Way becomes a stage for contemplation, a place where the known and the unknown coexist, and where the search for understanding drives both scientific inquiry and philosophical reflection. Cinematic sequences of sweeping galactic vistas punctuated by faint, mysterious anomalies reinforce this tension, maintaining engagement and stimulating curiosity while nurturing a sense of cosmic scale and possibility. The section also examines the subtle ways in which these civilizations might influence their surroundings. Perhaps gravitational fields are adjusted to stabilize planetary orbits, energy flows are redirected to support star systems, or information is encoded in patterns imperceptible to conventional instruments. These civilizations may not interfere directly but instead guide the evolution of galaxies, stars, and life in ways that are imperceptible yet deliberate. The narrative emphasizes that intelligence does not always require display. Sometimes the greatest power lies in subtlety, patience, and mastery of forces invisible to less advanced observers. As the section concludes, the camera pulls back to reveal the Milky Way in its entirety, a luminous, swirling galaxy dotted with regions of faint irregularity, subtle anomalies, and streams of energy that hint at hidden activity. The narrator reflects, across the spiral arms of the Milky Way, intelligence may thrive in silence, shaping stars, planets, and the very flows of energy in ways that remain beyond our perception. These civilizations may be old, patient, and deliberate, existing not for recognition but for mastery, leaving subtle signatures that await those capable of seeing beyond the obvious. To discover them is not merely to observe, but to understand, to recognize life and intelligence in forms that challenge our deepest assumptions about existence. The screen fades slowly, leaving viewers suspended between awe, curiosity, and the profound realization that the universe may be far richer in intelligence than we have ever imagined. The Milky Way stretches across the cosmos, a luminous river of stars and nebulae, yet beneath its glittering surface may lie intelligence so subtle and profound that it eludes human comprehension. This final section explores the culmination of the narrative, the possibility that shadow civilizations not only exist but have been quietly shaping the galaxy for eons, their presence woven into energy flows, gravitational fields, and the subtle orchestration of cosmic structures. The cinematic sequence begins with a sweeping aerial view of the spiral galaxy, spiraling through dense star clusters, past glowing nebulae, and into regions of darkness where faint distortions suggest hidden activity. The viewer is immediately immersed in a universe that is alive with motion, mystery, and intelligence operating on a scale beyond human imagination. The narrative opens with reflection on the limitations of human perception and understanding. Humanity searches for extraterrestrial life through telescopes, radio waves, and exploration missions, yet the universe may be teeming with civilizations whose existence is imperceptible to our senses and instruments. Post-material intelligence, consciousness unbound by matter, may operate across multiple star systems, encode information into gravitational or energy patterns, and manipulate cosmic phenomena with a subtlety that leaves little trace. The camera juxtaposes human technological efforts, satellite arrays scanning the skies, space probes hurtling toward distant planets, with the vast, silent mastery of civilizations that have evolved far beyond physical limitations. This contrast underscores both awe and humility, highlighting the gulf between human perception and the potential scale of intelligence in the galaxy. The section explores the various ways these civilizations could interact with their environment. They may stabilize planetary orbits, guide star formation, or redirect energy flows in ways that are imperceptible to conventional observation. Some anomalies, previously dismissed as natural, may in fact be deliberate interventions, subtle fingerprints of intelligence operating on galactic timescales. Cinematic visuals illustrate these possibilities, streams of energy bending around massive stars, faint distortions in nebulae, and clusters of stars arranged in patterns that suggest order and intent. Each sequence emphasizes the contrast between human understanding, which often relies on visible markers, and the subtle, pervasive influence of intelligence that leaves no overt trace. The narrative delves into the philosophical implications of such civilizations. True mastery, the section suggests, may not require visibility or recognition. By remaining hidden, these civilizations achieve longevity, protect themselves from cosmic hazards, and operate with patience and foresight unimaginable to humans. Their silence is a testament to sophistication, demonstrating that intelligence need not advertise itself to matter or shape the universe. This philosophical lens invites viewers to reconsider humanity's assumptions about life, progress, and communication, and to embrace the possibility that intelligence may thrive in forms that do not conform to our expectations. Temporal perspective is central to understanding shadow civilizations. A post-material intelligence could endure for millions or billions of years, with its influence unfolding slowly over cosmic epochs. What appears static or random to human observers may be a deliberate orchestration unfolding over vast scales of time. Cinematic sequences depict stars rotating across millennia, nebulae drifting imperceptibly, and faint energy flows tracing deliberate patterns, conveying the patience and foresight required for intelligence to shape the galaxy subtly. This long-term perspective contrasts sharply with humanity's fleeting presence, emphasizing both the fragility of our civilization and the immense possibilities that lie ahead if we expand perception, imagination, and understanding. The emotional resonance of the section is profound. Awe arises from contemplating civilizations that have transcended matter and mastered the cosmos. Fear emerges from recognizing the limitations of human perception, and inspiration springs from imagining the potential for humanity to ascend to greater understanding. The Milky Way becomes both a laboratory and a mystery, a place where known and unknown coexist, and where the search for comprehension drives both scientific inquiry and philosophical reflection. The narrative sustains tension by alternating between concrete observations, stellar phenomena, energy anomalies, and speculative interpretation, keeping viewers engaged and mentally stimulated. The section also addresses the potential implications for humanity's future. If civilizations can evolve beyond matter, master subtlety, and endure for eons, then humanity's technological and philosophical trajectory is only at its beginning. There is both hope and challenge. We are capable of growth, exploration, and transformation, yet must expand our imagination, patience, and understanding to perceive the universe in its fullness. Cinematic sequences visualize this possibility, showing human technology juxtaposed with abstract representations of galactic intelligence, emphasizing the bridge between our present limitations and the potential for advancement. As the section draws toward its conclusion, the narrative emphasizes the interconnectedness of life, intelligence, and the galaxy itself. Shadow civilizations, operating silently across light years, may have already shaped the Milky Way in subtle ways, creating a cosmic lattice of influence, thought, and purpose. Humanity, by expanding perception, advancing technology, and embracing imagination, may one day detect, understand, and perhaps even interact with these hidden entities. The camera pans across the galaxy one final time, highlighting both its brilliance and the faint, almost imperceptible anomalies that suggest intelligence, leaving viewers with a profound sense of awe and possibility. The section closes with reflective narration. The Milky Way may be alive not only with stars and planets, but with intelligence that moves silently, shaping the galaxy with patience and subtlety beyond our comprehension. These shadow civilizations challenge us to see beyond the obvious, to perceive patterns where none seem to exist, and to imagine life and thought in forms that transcend matter, time, and visibility. To truly understand our galaxy is to recognize that we are only beginning to glimpse the intelligence that has quietly endured, perhaps shaping the cosmos long before we arrived and waiting patiently for us to notice. The screen slowly fades into darkness, leaving the audience suspended between wonder, curiosity, and the profound realization that the universe is far richer in intelligence than we have ever imagined.